And good evening, Northport Nation. Thanks for coming to us here on the Bobcat Blitz. We're coming to you back live from your Northport Beefo Brady's. We had a 2-week hiatus where we're on the road. 2 weeks ago at Port Charlotte. Last week we were at the Preserve for the girls' soccer game. We're coming back to you here. We're actually in their new side room. They have a nice little, I call it a party room. They have their own bathrooms. They have 5 large screen TVs, their own little side area. So it's our first time in here. We welcome you back again. We appreciate it. Tonight we're going to have some previews today. We're going to have boys soccer as well as boys basketball updates. It's been a while since we've seen soccer. But real quick before we get into it, I want to talk about the scheduling. We got a lot going on. Not as much as last week. If you pay attention to our Facebook page, they had 18 events in 6 days. I don't think any of us have seen that before. I don't know. We've been here longer than I have. I don't think we've ever had 18. And I'm counting JV and varsity cheerleading as well. And those results are amazing. We had a lot of first place, top 5 finishes, you name it, all over. It's just a wonderful week to see that. I called 4 of those games back to back to back to back. And then Monday last night to back. So I'm like, all right, enough. We only have, I think, 2, 4, 6, 8 this week. Last night, we're going to talk a lot about last night. Tonight, we got girls basketball at Lakewood Ranch. That's a redo. We got girls soccer at Sarasota as well. That's going to be a tough out for the ladies. They're having a great season. Tomorrow, JV girls soccer. I remember this before. They're going to Imagine. I didn't know Imagine had a field. I don't know where they're playing out of. I might have to go sneak over to that one. Girls weightlifting will be a duo meet, actually a trio meet. They're going to Riverview, Sarasota with Riverview and Venice. And then Thursday, wrestling. All 3, JV, varsity, and girls are at Port Charlotte. And we wrap up the week Thursday, boys basketball, home versus DeSoto. But let's talk about last night before we get into our coaching staff here. I was joking here on the table here who had the best win last night. If you didn't pay attention, boys soccer went to my alma mater, Sarasota High School, and beat a very good team 4-2, putting them in the top place in their district right now. And then boys basketball here, back at the cage where I was announcing, took on Venice and beat them nicely 70-6. They got a really great home crowd. So for me as an announcer, it feels like I've got 2 teams who are really trying to be the best in the school. And with that, I want to introduce, we got Coach Joy Sorbino, assistant coach Lee Thomas. Thank you guys for coming back. I haven't seen you guys since October. Tell us what's been going on. It's been a while. How have you been, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, 15 games later, we sit here and, we got on a good stretch. Good preseason run right after we talked. We had 2 wins against a really solid DeSoto team that made a state run last year. We got to test ourselves against an area opponent in London Bay, and we had 2 good results in those games and 2 wins, so we felt good going into the season. First game against Venice, it's a tough one. We drop a game there at home the first night of the season, and it didn't feel good, right? I mean, but since then, we've ripped off 13 straight without a loss. Like you said, big, huge district win last night against Sarasota. That puts us at the top of the district, fresh on the rankings today. Just a lot of productivity, a lot of adversity for these guys to come through, but really making that push here for districts and regionals and trying to make their spot in history.
So let's take time out from it. There's a lot to unpack there. So fans, if you're not familiar with soccer, you can also have draws in high school soccer. They don't go to an overtime or not till playoff time. So what's your record sitting at right now, Coach?
Yeah, so on the season we're 9-1-4.
That's 9 wins, 1 loss, 4 draws. So there you go. So when he says 13 in a row, that still is pretty impressive. So make sure you're not 13. But still, I'm amazed. So you lost the first game.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's been, what's a loss? We don't know what a loss is. There are no losses here.
That's our running joke we've got, right? These guys don't know how to lose right now.
I love it.
I mean, we're seeing it all, right? We're behind in games, we're ahead in games, hard fought to the last minute, finding a goal, and they're really showing. Again, we talked early in October about how there's 14 seniors on this team, right? We thought, really highly of this group and what their potential was. Obviously, they got to step on the field, they got to get the results, and they've got to continue to get better as the season goes along. I think they've showed us, and that's our running joke around. Like, these guys don't know how to lose.
Well, a couple of games ago, I forgot I was doing basketball on the inside, and Tony Miller, our athletic director, came up to me and I was trying to get updates on the Booker game.
Yeah.
I think that was senior night.
Yeah.
Now, the old days, Booker used to be an 8-0 halftime mercy rule game. Tony's like, no, they are for real this year. And I'm looking, I'm like, we're losing 2-0.
Yeah.
And yet, what happened, Coach? What flipped the switch there? Tell us your views on that game.
I don't know. I mean, I think one of the things we've noticed from our guys is they're very resilient and they don't seem to get down like we were feeling with 2 minutes left, like it was not looking good being down 2-0 with 2 minutes left.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
He told me
left.
10 minutes.
No, like we were down to 2 minutes, and our guys were pressing hard. Like we didn't play well. We didn't play as a unit. It was senior night. We got guys out of position, so it was already kind of a weird night.
Yeah.
But we got down to that last 2 minutes, and they were pushing hard, and we ended up getting the goal from a PK opportunity. So we got a PK and took that. So we got down to 2-1. And then we were just pressing them hard and scored our second goal to tie it up with like 30 seconds left.
Wow.
And so, yeah, when you're down 2-0 with 2 minutes, in the rest of the world, that game's pretty much over. But our guys have found a way. They found a way to tie that game when Booker played really well. We were not in a great position. And, 30 seconds left, we pull off a goal we didn't think we were going to get on a senior night. So,
And it's hard for the fan out there to realize that a draw sounds bad, but it really isn't a bad.
No,
that was bad for like other sports, but for soccer, it's almost like a miniature win in some
it
respects.
felt like a win.
Right,
But
exactly.
Isn't that the definition of a good team, though?
Right.
Is that they don't have that mindset of I'm going to quit now because there's only
Right.
2 minutes left?
Yeah,
And-
we went down 1-0 last night,
Yep.
and we talked about it afterwards, and we were like, you wouldn't have known we were down. They were just like, okay, and just kept going and playing our game.
To that point, listen, I went back and when we're in the game and things are going a million miles an hour, it feels like forever, right? I went back watching film today. Yesterday, we're down 1-0 to Sarasota in the first half. We score to tie the game 3 minutes before halftime.
Nice.
We score a second, 30 seconds before halftime. So we did that to Booker on senior night. We were able to get the draw out of that. Down at up at Sarasota last night, a similar result. They were getting to halftime to take the lead and then really take control of the game.
That's awesome. So your team's doing great, your senior's doing great. What have you seen as the biggest improvement this season with those guys since their junior year? A little bit of everything? Is there one thing in particular? Are they listening to you more?
Yeah, I
trusting you, trust the process?
Here's the weird thing for me as a coach, right? Like, and I've been talking to Lee a lot about this. Is like, this is the first group that I've had where some of these kids, I was able to interact with them as a coach when I first started coaching, and they were 11, 12 years old, right? So these are kids that we've seen grow up through the local systems and obviously come through our program here at Northport High School and develop. And, every year you get something different. There's no way before tryouts where you're sitting there thinking, hey, we're about to take 14 seniors on this team, right? But that's the opportunity that presented itself. And as soon as it did, we understood what the potential could be with this group and what we hope to get to. Now, they've been, like you said, resilient in every situation. The demeanor doesn't change. They go down a goal, they go up a goal. It's just even keel across the board, consistent play to get better. For us, that makes our life a little easier. I think we stress a little more than them sometimes.
That's your job,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it is.
It is,
I think so. But we have learned this year, and our motto has been since the beginning. And this was even before the Venice game, the first game. There is one loss, or one game is not going to define our season, right? If our end goal is to make a run in regionals to get to states, one loss, one draw, one win, it can't define us. We have to continue to understand what our goal is going to be, what it's going to take to get there, and then to put in that work every single day to start to make that happen.
Can we go back to Key West a little bit? I know I mentioned it already. That's December 3rd or 4th around that area. So I haven't seen you guys obviously since October. But so you were the second game of the day.
Yeah.
You came up Friday night. So all day Saturday you're waiting around for your turn. And what did you think about the team overall? Were they having fun? Were they pretty serious? A little bit of both?
Yeah.
Or?
I mean, I would say the idea of this trip when it came up and with Coach Zach, Coach Curtis. When they start to bring these ideas around, right?
Yeah.
We started talking about it and said, hey, man, if we could get as many teams down there as possible, is that an opportunity not only to go down to Key West, to give these guys an experience that some of them will never get to do, right?
And their first time down there.
Sure.
Most of them.
But also just, I think that something that's really big at our school right now is we're talking about, kind of building up this athletic culture, right?
Yeah.
We have to understand we're young as a school. We're still in that process of building that culture in our athletics and growing that. And a trip like that, what it did for seeing the basketball team with the soccer team and those guys that normally don't interact, but they're spending time together. They're down at the pool. They're going to grab something to eat. They're, basketball guys screaming when we score a goal in the soccer
That's
field.
awesome.
Our soccer guys are start chants in the basketball gym, right?
Good.
All those things are going to lead to opportunities to grow that culture, but also present an opportunity for memories to be made that these guys will hopefully look
And I'm hearing you're on the same bus. You got separate buses.
Yeah, we have boys and girls bus.
That's good. That's smart. First of all, hey, that's smart. I'm glad they get the mix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but-
thought it was really neat. We were sitting in the stands for the girls' soccer game, and we had a bunch of the girls' basketball players there. And I heard several of them go I think this is the first soccer game I've ever been to.
There you go.
But then we scored, and then we scored again, and then the kids are getting into it, and then they start chanting, and so there was definitely this experience of seeing other sports, especially being both winter sports. You don't ever get to go see that other team because you're in the middle of your season. So I think it was a great experience to build our winter sports as well as them experience something they've never experienced and travel. All of our kids had an absolute blast, had a great time. I think all the kids.
Well, I talked to Coach Hans last week at the game. We did a Zoom, and I was out there, and he said next year, and he already used the word next year, they're going to try to include a Friday, hopefully a Friday game at Marathon High School. And he actually said I can come down this time. He said I couldn't come this time because they're trying it out. They don't want to be filming bad things, so they're going to go ahead and let me come down next year, and I think that's fantastic, guys. Coming up though, you're going to have winter tournaments. Are you taking a break from winter play at all?
Yeah, so we're actually, after last night, that was our last game going into this Christmas New Year
Okay.
break. Yeah, so
Get a
we're
little
off.
time to heal.
Yeah, the guys, we say rest is best, right? So
They're not going to sneak some competitive tournament. And
Oh, they are.
listen.
Oh, they are. Believe me,
I
believe me.
know they do.
Some of these guys will be playing.
And you're powerless to stop it, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm guilty of it. I'll be.
Oh, you're part of it.
No,
Oh.
there's a lot of tournaments in the competitive soccer
Yeah.
world over break, so really it's just an opportunity for them to get some downtime, play a little bit of tournament, not be going every
And that's
day.
fun too. You get out of town. you're not
Yeah,
with your-
it's a little different, and some of the kids just need to get some downtime away, and so it'll be a nice little
different
break
coaching
before we come
experience,
back.
different things. When you come back, you got a couple games left. You said before playoffs.
Yes, we have 3 more games left in the season. So we come back with Oasis. That's actually a girls and boys varsity only match we do every year. So we'll be home for that match on the 10th of January. That Friday, we go down up to Tampa Catholic.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's going to
that's
be
a fun
a good one. And then we finish the season off at home against Riverview the following week on
Ooh,
Wednesday.
man, you're closing off with some tough teams. You told me earlier, Oasis. What was their ranking here? Oh, not Oasis, Olympia.
Yeah, they're not on the.
Yeah, so Riverview, our last game of the season, that's actually a district opponent.
So pretty much be the decider of the district, you think?
Yeah, we're neck and neck right now, similar records and similar opponents, so that's gonna be a good one. We played them early in the season after that Venice loss, we were able to get a draw to that.
Oh, good.
So that's one of those.
Draw in their
opportunities.
place. So
Yeah.
now you come back and get the win here.
And that was another one, down 2-0 in that game and find a way to come back 2-2. So they're a really solid team. Our district is stacked full of talent this year, as it always is. We got Northport, Riverview, Sarasota, Lakewood Branch, Venice, Lehigh. So it's going to be a toss-up. The big thing we're fighting for is this: the top 2 seeds in the district, come district time, are going to get a bye in that first round. So we want to be one of those top 2 seeds. We sit in first right now. So we're gonna do as much as we can to finish off this 3-game stretch on a solid note. Get that 1 seed, get an extra week of rest here,
Yeah.
and then.
How many games up are you right now?
Well, so the way that the district works is it's off the state rankings. So right now, we're currently ranked 43rd in the state of Florida. Riverview's at 59th. So we're 16 spots in front of them in the state rankings, it's a pretty healthy lead. But anything can happen in those 3 games. It really depends on who they're playing as well. But if we win out, it's safe to say we're in a pretty good
Is
spot.
this one of those?
That's good. Good to know.
The secret max preps calculus that no one knows about?
Yeah,
Is this
so-
what I'm talking about?
So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. I think we were discussing this because the max preps and the state rankings are a little different, but
Oh, wow.
they use different factors a little bit. So like max preps takes into consideration the goal differential or how much you beat a team by, where the state just looks at it as a win. And so that actually helped us a little bit because we played one team that we probably should have scored some more goals, but we only beat them 1-0. And so, that in max preps, that hurts you a little bit.
Okay.
But with the state ranking, it was a win, so it didn't really matter that it wasn't.
Do they have a secret committee like the BCS does, or they're hiding somewhere in a hotel?
I guess, I don't know. But
beat someone off the final
And it's
four.
open up Florida State.
Florida State kind of
Yeah.
play. Oh, okay. No, that's fantastic. So let's go back to your players again. So the 14 seniors. Do you have any non-seniors starting? Or
We do. Yeah, we have two juniors that have been pretty consistent in the lineup. Fisher Clark and Leighton Riesgos. They've been starting the back line for us on defense. They're two juniors. Again, products of
I'm sure they're learning a lot from the senior leadership.
They are. They stepped up. I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked about this often where we go, you know, you have this senior laden team, right? And you're expecting those older guys to kind of carry that torch and lead. These are two juniors that really came into the team and just grabbed their spot. We were never saying in the beginning, like, hey, this spot is for anybody. It was really an open competition to come in and earn it. These guys are younger, but they come in and they're coachable. They fight, they learn, they grow, and they've been two staples in our lineup ever since.
Good. They have plenty of time because they're seniors, most of the team, so they're getting ready for the next chapter in their life, coming up pretty fast. Are they? Some going to college, and a couple of them, a lot of them. What's your feel?
Well,
Are they start telling you where they're going next year?
So yes, we've got a good mix, right? I mean, I think that if you're asking my opinion as a coach, I think we have probably 7 or 8 college-ready players, right?
Students or players?
So students that are going to try to go play in college.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm not like just academic. I didn't know. Oh, wow.
yeah, and I think like our team GPA is sitting somewhere around like a 3.8, 3.9.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we've got some.
So
really
no
good
knuckleheads
guys.
then. No knucklehead soccer then.
You know,
that's fantastic.
Again, this is a group that's come up together, right? So they're a staple of the school in the ACE program, doing their job in the classroom. They're also very skilled athletes that can step on the field and do a good job out there.
So I can't remember 7 to 8 boys.
Yeah,
Level soccer, college, even Division 2, whatever the 3.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely makes a difference when you've got that level of experience, because most of the teams we faced, you can tell they've got 3 or 4 of those type of players, and they kind of spread them throughout the field. But for the most part, we have them everywhere, and it shows. There's a lot of experience and understanding of how to play. I would say this: one of the things we've been doing this year that's really kind of made a difference is we've tactically run 2 to 3 different formations, which isn't common in soccer. Most teams go out, they have their formation, they play in that formation. So we'll start in one formation and then switch to a different formation. So Sarasota, we started
Like on the fly, like boom.
So we were playing in a 3-5. Yeah, so we were playing like in a 3-5-2, and then they were putting pressure, and so we decided to switch it up and go to a 4-3-3.
That's awesome.
And our guys just do it, and they don't.
Like a video game. Like video.
So
That's cool.
again, it speaks to the level of their play, the experience, and the quality of their play, and they're all playing at a very high level outside of just the high school, so they understand those concepts. So we've been pretty fortunate at being able to do that, and it's thrown a lot of the teams off, because all of a sudden you're coming at them in a different formation in a different way, and they want to do what they want to do, and now all of a sudden it's changed, and they don't have the ability to adapt.
For like a lot of fans out there, it's hard to take an entire soccer team and change formations. Usually it's a halftime thing. Like whereas basketball, they come out a point and you yell something, all of a sudden boom, they're in a different formation instantaneously. There's only 5 of them to maneuver, so for them to go that fast, that's pretty. I want to see that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Jonathan.
So you've got an experienced team, really, going into this season. Where do you rank this team in comparison to past teams? I know you, as coaches, you never like to compare teams, but there's always something favorable to this team compared to the other teams. Is it the tenacity of the comeback?
I think it's several things. I mean, at least with the boys, I mean, I've been at the school and I've coached girls for a really long time, so I think overall of my teams, it's the most experienced and talented team across the whole field that I've ever had. So there's that. And then they also just have this mindset of like, they believe in themselves and they know what they can accomplish and what they can do. And they know they can score and they know they can do that. And so they don't really get rattled. So in that, it's probably the best team I've ever had in that. Since we've had the boys, again, this is, we had a very good team. My son's freshman year, we made a regional run. I think this team's very different in the style of play. We were much bigger, more physical team, not as tactical, not as technical. This team is definitely elite when it comes to tactical and technical soccer compared to any team we've had.
That's got to be a kind of a cool thing as a coach, to be able to have that and be able to make that adjustment too.
Right. I mean, I've never been able to do that much in a game. I mean, I've made switches for my formation from game to game, but not in a game. And we've literally run 3 different formations in one game, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think one thing that started to stand out to me as well is this, like, you know, even with experienced teams, we talked 3 years ago, we were able to make a deep regional run with a group that came up similar to this. I think there was 11 seniors in that group that year. You know, they made the regional semifinal, wound up losing on PKs, but a great group. The difference I'm seeing in this group compared to groups like that in the past that I've had is this. We're starting to get in a rhythm where maybe early season we have all this talent, these guys are confident, right? Sometimes I could strike the wrong chord. Sometimes I could come off as like a little too confident, a little too in control, right? And as we talk as a team and start to work on that, right? Now we're starting to see them buy in. I mean, 15 games in, they're bought in. And now I'm like, last night we're at Sarasota. It's a good rivalry game. We're down early. We come back. And here's the thing. As these guys are walking off the field in the last water break, I'm starting to walk on the field because I'm used to doing this thing where I'm like, hey guys, 20 more minutes, let's finish, right? And they're saying that to me first, like, coach, 20 more. Hey, we got this, let's go, right? And they're hyping each other up. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do now? You know, so I think that speaks a lot to at least the confidence in this group is tremendous. The skill is there as well. But I think that throughout the adversity that they've seen in these first 15 games, they're starting to become humble enough to understand the moment and where they have to grow still and what they want to achieve.
I want to go back to the grades here for a second because I kind of feel like there's a good correlation with these athletes and their grades.
Yeah.
And you talked about the tactical side. Well, that kind of is relative when it comes to the grade side of things too. Can you talk a little bit about how that's gelled this group together even better?
Yeah, I mean, I think like in that term of it, we get into film a lot, right? So when we're getting into film, these guys they're very studious when it comes to the game. And this is maybe kind of the club system they came up in or the experience of level they've played on. But these guys they're coming to training and they're talking about the statistics, the numbers, the analytics in the game. That's usually stuff that I'm a nerd about, right? Like when I get downtime during the day, I'm sitting on my computer looking at our shot charts of where we're getting shots from, where we're crossing from, where's our successful passing rate, is it in the mid third, is it in the final third, right? These guys are starting to grasp into that and latch on like that's a 9th class of the day. No, it is, and of course these are extremely intelligent, student athletes that, like in these moments where they have to adapt. There's quick thinking, there's ideas. They're bringing stuff to the table that maybe we're not even thinking about at times, and that's become a good dynamic between the coaches and the players.
Well, and I've seen out on the field, it can get, they're boys. It can get pretty intense in a game. It's a battle. Soccer's very physical, and they're into each other a little bit about their expectations for each other. At the beginning of the season, there was a little more chippiness to that. Now it's a lot more just like they're directing each other. They're saying, hey, I want to make this run. I want to go here. This is what I'm looking for you to do. And they're all kind of like accepting it from each other, which, again,
well, that also makes your captains on the field. I know you have more than one out there, so they don't have one captain playing. How are they doing their roles? Sounds like you had good captains.
So we have 4 captains. And realistically, here's what we try to do. Every year we try to pick 3. And that's usually winds up being in the defensive line, the midfield line, the forward line. Just so there's communication on the field with the referees and them, with us and them, and when we need to make those adjustments, they can be our kind of quarterback on the play, right? So we got to a point where we picked our 3 and we looked at each other and we're like, we both have one more in mind, and we had the same one, right? So we have 4 this year, all seniors, all have really, stepped up in different ways. We have vocal leaders, we have emotional leaders, we have locker room guys, we have, speak with your play. That happens across the board, and again, like Lee said, those are the guys that are kind of redirecting on the field, where that was chippiness in the beginning. Now that's leadership. We have a captain last night. He's our leading scorer. He's sitting on, 16 goals. He's only 12 goals off the school record. We got a PK last night. The guy who drew the foul for the PK, he was going to take it. He winds up giving him the ball. So like that kind of leadership, I don't even think that they grasp at times what that means in that moment to the guy that got the foul, right? That needs that goal and that time to boost his morale to push the team on to show that you're willing not to just take the shots that are going to score, but also give them the big guy next.
Did you make it?
He did.
There you go.
There you go.
The important part, like he's gonna make it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking on the
You're gonna
side.
make it. That's too funny. So, I know it's a team, and I don't want to talk individuals, but is there one or two or three players that really stuck out? Like maybe so much as last year, not so much this year, but like from last year to this year, you've seen grow.
I mean,
I think we
okay,
got a spot, but there's always
No,
a
I
few.
mean, so we have some players on the team that, like for me, we have one guy that was on JV last year as a junior. So not a lot of varsity experience. We've pulled him up and, he's really grown so much. Now we feel like we can't live without him on the.
What's his
off
name,
the
Coach?
field.
Can you say that on here? What's his
So
name?
Ryan Larson
There you
is,
go, Ryan.
he's a senior.
Congratulations, Ryan.
Yes, Ryan has been fantastic. I mean, he is stepped up. He's very consistent. Last night we were in a situation, we switched to 4-back and one of our defenders had pulled a muscle, so he was out. So normally Ryan plays center mid or outside mid for us. So we put him back at right back and we got the same exact play out of him. So, and coming from a guy who moved up is competing with a lot of really talented players, not that he's not, but he moved up from a JV situation last year into the varsity. He wasn't already on varsity. So there's a lot of growth there to establish himself in a position. So there's certainly that. I think the other one, the other senior, he's got the most goals. He was captain last year. He moved in from New York. He established himself as a leader and a goal scorer. And this year he's been on a tear. But he's not cocky. He just works hard. He's a go-getter and he supports the whole team. And so Matt Denarski's really been.
All right, Matt. You're on the microphone. All right.
Yeah,
There we go.
Matt's really been a great player, leader. He's done everything we've asked for him. And then of course, when you get this kind of a record, you have to have somebody that's he's taken a hold on where he's at in the season. So Matt and Ryan are probably my top two. Right?
I've got two. I've got one for sure because I know he's not going to say it, right? But his son, Caden Thomas, right? If you look back at the 4 years and the evolution of what Caden has done for this team, as a freshman, played JV for the majority of the season, came up at the end of freshman year into a regional run and was assisting and scoring goals as a freshman on varsity in regionals, right? In a position where he's usually in the defensive line, he's playing forward. For the next 2 years, sophomore and junior year, he winds up finding a home in the midfield for us. And to this year, with the loaded senior talent we have, he went back to the defensive line. So he's really in 4 years played about every position on the field except goalie. He stepped up huge, and it's the quiet minutes, right? He's not necessarily getting on the score sheet, although he did last night, finally, right? We're used to getting a few from him here and there, but he's doing a lot of the dirty work, so to say, behind the play to make sure the guys in front of him succeed.
I've always enjoyed watching the assists more
Yeah.
than the goals.
Yeah.
I've always said that. And back in college, I played against the guy from the Soviet Union a long time ago. We were playing some street hockey. He said that over in his country, no one celebrated the goal scorers. They only celebrated the assist leaders.
Well,
And I remember that as a young man. I'm like, wow, so I come to the American sports where all the goals. I'm like, no, it's who set that assist or the guy who set the assist before. The hockey, they go back 2 plays.
yeah, I think for me,
I'm
even
the
though I
assist
don't
makers.
tout Caden as much just because he's my kid, but I think the big thing is there was one game where he was literally making 40-yard runs, no joke, in the Venice game, 40-yard runs over and over and over and over and over through the whole game. He was everywhere.
Yeah.
And everywhere you thought there was going to be a problem, he popped up. So
Really good. I got one more.
Well, okay, good.
So we actually got a transfer in this year. We got a kid that transferred from Charlotte to Northport this year. It was a last minute
There
thing.
we go.
Nice to have one reverse.
Yeah, no
There we go.
kidding. But yeah, this kid scored 38 goals for Charlotte last year, and he came over here, and I think that the conversation that it was a ton. When you know that our school record is 28 for the boys side, so he broke that last year at Charlotte. And he came over, and the first conversation that we had, kind of Coach Blair, this is also the first time we met. But I told him, I said, I don't need you to be the deacon that was at Charlotte. I need you to come in, integrate into this team, and understand and trust the guys around you. You're going to take a different role. And I think for the first bit of the season, that was a little bit tough on him. He's used to Deacon Powell,
Deacon
right?
Powell.
So I think he's used to being the guy that scores all the goals. But over the course of the season, he's really kind of started to relish in his role of drawing the attention of some defenders that are familiar with him from last year, and then dishing it off to his teammates to prop up Matt and John and Will and these guys up top that are scoring the goals for us every night. But he's up to 6 goals on the score sheet. He had a 7th assist last night. So he's doing whatever.
Is there a competition among the assist leaders? I tell you, the assist needs to be the trophy, not the goals. The assist leaders.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, like for a kid to score 38 goals, the thing really about Deacon's philosophy recently is like he makes the assist and he sprints over to the sideline and is like, I got an assist.
That's
coach.
awesome.
You know,
I love it.
So it just feels good that the kid is adapting and joining in on what we're trying to do for as a team.
Fantastic.
Well, Coach, can you think of any wrap-up stuff for us coming in? Again, we got 3 more games. We're gonna. Let's go back to the junior side real quick. So the girls and boys are playing on January 10th. That's a Wednesday.
Yes.
So it's gonna be like a 5:30, 7:30 kind of
Yep,
thing.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where I'm hearing the rumors of a block party that night? Am I hearing about this yet?
So there is.
And then
Yeah,
nothing
I
told
didn't
me
know that was out yet.
We're gonna kind of whisper a little bit here.
Yeah, a little-
I mentioned it.
Yeah, a little whisper is, that's part of that culture thing we're talking about. So they're trying to make sure that we give every opportunity for people to support all the different sports. So little whispers of a block party happening before. I believe that's also our girls soccer senior night.
Okay.
So it's going to be a party that night.
All right, we'll
That's
get more
awesome.
details out once Ms. Keegan makes it official.
Sure,
So I'm
sure.
glad guys, I want to thank you. It's great seeing you.
Thank you.
Love soccer. We will definitely be out there Wednesday to film something. I can't film the game because the team won scores, but I can at least get part of it on the show. So great job again.
All right.
Guys, we got Coach Sorbino, Coach Thomas, our varsity boys soccer. They are at a great pace, 9 wins, 1 loss.
Good job, guys.
And 4 ties. They are fighting for that first place, positioning the district. Good luck, guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
All right.
3 minutes. She's got 3 minutes.
I got a quick minute to just talk about the athletic booster. Club
Absolutely.
at
You
the high school.
got to introduce yourself first. eh?
Sorry, guys.
All right, go ahead.
Kristen Cothorn, been around a while. Had a child that's played football at the high school, that's played soccer. He is playing in college. But I am here tonight for the Athletic Booster Club. We have a lot of amazing things going on. Not sure if the word has gotten out, but the weight room is under renovation. And so that's getting close to being tied up, that we're very excited about. We're actually in a meeting right now, which is why I only have a short period, because we're looking at, how we're gonna transition into that. The big thing I wanna announce, just a couple of things. I know we had a big blitz. The last time we were on the show with you guys. We are still looking for board members for next year. We're still looking for people to come in and keep this culture going and keep this culture growing. So if you're interested, please make sure you reach out to us. You can always email Tony at the school and he'll be more than happy to answer questions. Or you can find us on Facebook at ABC of NPHS.
How important is it that people are hearing this message from you?
It's very important. My kids have been out of the school now for 2 years, and my husband and I are still here because we believe in the kids, we believe in the school, we believe in where we're going. We did have, Sean, you were presenting for us, or announced it for us. We had a great check presentation at the school where we presented the school with $11,000. And, that's been a huge transition. And, we all know that money's getting tighter and tighter as the year goes on. So we can't afford to lose the booster club. It's a huge, huge ordeal. We do have our major fundraiser coming up. March 2nd at the Morgan Center is our casino night. And we are very thankful that Elite Hurricane Protection has stepped up as our presenting sponsor. So thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you. And we've got some great sponsors that are also stepping in.
How many more sponsors do you have available still?
We only have 3 sponsorships open. We still have the drink sponsor open. That is $1,000, and then we have 2 table sponsors open for $100.
Okay.
So we're almost there for our sponsorship, but we need ticket sales. We need the word to get out. It's going to be at the Morgan Center. Last year we had a total blast, and we're hoping to double the attendance this year. And so really making a big push. The other thing the Athletic Booster Club is doing is we just got approved to be part of Giving Tuesday, April 9th and 10th. It starts at noon on April 9th and it goes until noon on April 10th. And for every $100 given per individual, they're matching us $100. So, that's really big, and we're gonna work with our
Can you take
coaches.
smaller denominations?
Absolutely,
$100.
every penny up to $100
Okay,
per
gotcha.
person is matched penny for penny.
Awesome.
So, that's gonna be a big thing, and
Give us that link as soon as you can. I'll throw it out.
we're working on that now. We're gonna announce that hopefully when we do the grand opening of the weight room and things like that.
What's a number that somebody can call to talk about possibly volunteering to be a booster or helping out?
Well, I'm just gonna give my number because
Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure Northport already has it.
The world has it.
It's 941-685-6405. You can always reach out to me. I can help you with the booster club. I can get you in contact with athletics, but 941-685-6405. We are still looking for sponsors for casino night. And then if you need any information about Giving Tuesday, that's going to be a big one. Our goal is set at $72,000.
Wow.
So, which is kind of neat because we technically only have to raise 36
Oh, I see.
to get to the 72. So that's why we're excited and we're really starting to put that together and
Who
get
matches those funds? I don't know the organization.
It's a whole foundation. It's,
Okay.
I mean, we've been, Sally Giacobbe, our secretary, has put in countless hours of doing 4 different applications to get us approved, and she got us approved, because of what we are trying to do as the Athletic Booster Club. We want to keep presenting huddle. We want to start doing some more senior scholarships. We want to start updating all of our equipment and weight room and everything that our athletes need. And, I hate to say it this way. I've been volunteering at the schools here in Northport for 17
Oh my
years
gosh.
now.
Since I've been here, at least.
We have always been the redheaded stepchild of Sarasota County, and I have always put it out there that I am bound and determined we are going to get out of that status. So we're really trying, and 72,000 would really put Northport in a much better situation than we are now. And so,
But it would help to have an army behind you.
It would, but unfortunately, as of once we hit May is when I'm officially going to hang up my hat, and so we need some people to come in. We're going to be there. The board we have now is still willing to help. Is still willing to transition and be there to guide. We're not going to completely walk away. I'm not moving out of the city of Northport. So, but we just need some people that are.
We need these coaches to press their teams, even if one person per team.
Yep. Well,
that would be 20 right there. One out of each team.
We need even if it's one per sport, out of the girls and boys, if it's just one per sport. But the coaches have a lot on their belts, and and they carry a lot of weight on their shoulders, which is why the club has stepped up to where we are and to what we're pushing to. We were really hoping that, relieving Tony of that huddle expense would be able to alleviate a lot of other expenses that he can help the coaches with. And we're making strides in doing that. But, every time we feel like we make a stride, well, the cost of everything is going up. So, we have to keep aiming higher and higher. So that's why we're trying to get into this Giving Tuesday, that if we can make $72,000, which will only be 36 on our part, that could be a huge stride. So, but yeah, absolutely, make sure you mark your calendars, keep your eye out on Facebook. ABC of NPHS is us. Obviously we'll make sure we tag the Blitz and get Northport High athletics and stuff like that. But if you have any questions, again, my name is Kristen Cawthorn. Please reach out for any support that you can give our athletes. 941-685-6405.
March 2nd is a Saturday.
March 2nd is a Saturday. It's gonna be a hoopla. We had a great time last year, and everybody, yes.
I'm wondering if you need a volunteer announcer on that.
Yeah, no, only
That's still in rodeo season though.
Yeah, we have a great time with that, but absolutely. So,
All right.
But any sponsorship, any questions, anybody that's willing to step up and help us, just keep your eyes and ears open.
Awesome.
And we appreciate it. And we just hope everybody has a very safe holiday.
That's it.
So.
Share the video. Share the video.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. I gotta go back to my other meeting.
No doubt. Go get them.
So we have a moment, the Bobcat Blitz. We want to recognize last week's Jersey Mike Student Athletes of the Week. For the girls, we have Caitlin Page. She's a senior for the girls weightlifting team. she won the Sarasota County Championship in both the traditional and the bench press. So that's a 150-pound clean and jerk and 155-pound bench, total 305 total. I don't think I can lift that a year, one at a time for a year.
No doubt.
Caitlin demonstrates the Bobcat way through being consistent, accountable, trustworthy, and through her sportsmanship. Great job, Caitlin. For the boys, we have sophomore wrestler Lachlan Harris. Lachlan, he won the 113-pound division at last week's Kings Classic tournament. Lachlan demonstrates the Bobcat way of being champion, ambitious, tenacious, and through his spirit. That's our first time we've had weightlifting mentioned student-wise. I'm glad to hear
No
that.
doubt.
And
That's awesome.
Congratulations, Caitlin Lachlan. Thank you, Jersey Mike's of Northport, for all your support. Coaches, don't forget to keep sending us your recognition, and we also need another grade level as well. And I talked to Coach Joey before you get to coach her. They've nominated a boys soccer player a couple weeks in a row. He's got GPA smarter than I ever was, and goals that I've never get. So
That's fantastic.
All right, guys, our next guest, we've had him on not too long ago. We got assistant varsity boys coach, Mr. Zach Babut. How you doing, Coach?
Good.
Man, let me see your hand. So I just saw this young man not even, 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen you way too much this last week.
I know
We've had,
four home games in a row.
It's-
on.
yeah, I'm getting, yeah. And I think you did JV duty not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
actually coaching tomorrow night.
the Thursday night game,
Yeah.
the varsity.
To go
Yeah.
north for family thing.
Wow. So, fans, we talked earlier about soccer, boys soccer, and boys basketball. There are other teams, of course, doing great, but just what happened, you guys played at the same time last night, and I can only get a little warm the event. But you guys are both trying to be king of the campus.
Yeah, I mean, I
for the
think-
boys. That's the girls. The boys. The girls are doing great too.
I was just talking to Joe today. I think it's great for the school. I mean that multiple sports are kind of on the rise. We had a little stretch where we kind of got checked a little bit. I know I was last time here before we went and played Charlotte.
I remember that.
And
Yeah.
they, I'm
That-
not gonna lie, they whooped us.
When I was talking about that was a rough
We,
watch there. The scores.
We come out to play. They put it on us. After that, we went down to Key West. Obviously, got a good win there. Went back to Port Charlotte. That game slipped away from us late in the game.
Yeah.
Then we went down to Naples. Didn't play well. Lost that game. And then we're here on this.
So let's stop right there, my coach. So you had that great start, like 4 or 5 in a row. Then you had the 3 losses there within a span there. And the Blitz actually went to Port Charlotte High School to film the first ever away game. I didn't get a lot of comments on the feedback on that, so I don't know if it went too well or not. But
I watched a little bit.
I was there. It's hard to catch the game, but they had an inside player, number 4. I didn't even know who he was until that game.
Yeah.
Holy moly. He did a great. Yeah, but Brandon had 2 fouls in the first quarter. That really changed the dynamic of that game, and it really set you guys back.
Yeah,
But-
and I know when I was on the show last time, we were talking about our depth. And, I mean, when stuff like that happens, it
Yeah.
kind of gets thrown out there that we're not very deep.
Well, it shows me that it's not just about Eli. We all know Eli's got the numbers, but just what I'm seeing, just the eye test, Brendan's really giving you a great outlet there to pull some of that. If Eli's getting double teamed and all that, you can go out somewhere.
I mean, as of late,
So,
Brandon's been averaging like 20 points a game
Yeah,
the last
I mean,
game.
what a
So
great-
he's lighted up right now, so that's good for us.
and remind the crowd where he came from. He's not a Northport originally. He came from.
Charlotte High School.
Yeah, another
Yeah,
child.
Port Charlotte. But yeah, and then Jackson went through a little stretch where he struggled a little bit. He hurt his wrist and kind of like messed with his shot a little bit.
I heard his
he had,
leg was hurt a little bit.
yeah, he had a great game last night, so that was good to see for him.
So we come out those losses, and then I gotta be honest, it's the best back-to-back games I've seen in this program in almost a decade, I'd say. You took on then ranked number 18 in the state, Brayton Christian, and you beat them.
Yeah, I mean,
Whoa!
we just told our guys, just go out there, play hard. If anything, play hard, and just at least give us a chance. And honestly, the last couple of games we've been lighting up. But another thing for us, I mean, you announced the game, so you see is like, we'll have a lead, and then we'll kind of just mess around, not mess around, but
I know you said. Kind of let it go a little bit.
yeah, I mean,
Take the foot off the
we're
pedal.
still learning. These kids still need to learn how to play with the lead, and we tell them to slow down, and they think we're telling them don't score. We're not saying don't score. We're saying work the ball, take some time off the clock, get a good shot. So we're kind of drilling that in their heads for practice.
But let's go back to Brayton Christian here, Zach. I don't think the city realizes what a big deal that is for this program. Probably your best win as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, me and Bruce went out after and we're talking about it. It's probably one of the better wins the program has.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the area, I mean, that's a.
How do the kids feel about it? They quite get it, or is it something?
No,
like
yeah,
a game?
they got it. They got it. And, you know, a big thing, that little stretch of where we didn't play well, you know, and when we looked at the numbers across the board, we were just getting outworked, like on the boards, defensively, 50-50 balls. And, you know, we kind of told them, like, we can't get outworked. It's just, like the way I see it is getting back to when I was in school and Teddy B's and the Final Four team is like every team, we used to beat every team bad.
I am.
Like, put it on them. So we're getting every team's best game because those coaches are still the same coaches, and they're like, "Oh, we played Northport tonight." And, you know, that's what we try to tell these kids. And I think we're starting to get it now a little bit. Those 3 games we lost were just simply just.
Are we young?
No,
Almost the seniors.
old, very old.
But I want to follow up real quick before you get to John here. Then you came to Monday night's game last night, and I was telling them my scoreboard, like I said, "Oh, this game got me scared." It's Venice. We've always had a deep rivalry with those guys in all sports. And I'm like, we know Coach Luke from when he was with us here. I'm like, please don't be a letdown game. Please don't be a letdown game.
Yeah, I mean,
And it ended up being a pretty darn good game by you guys.
I mean, I think for most of the game we dominated. Through 3 quarters, we dominated them.
Well, they took the lead first quarter, I believe,
Yeah.
by quite a bit. And then you guys came
I
back.
think it was 7. I think at the end of the first it was 19-15.
Yeah.
And the second quarter we kind of started taking over. Third quarter we kind of pulled away. It was on the verge of being just a total
You guys
domination.
double digits again on them going into the fourth
And then, you
quarter.
know, the same thing as always, you know, we just kind of get
It's 4 turnovers in a row to lead the fourth quarter.
complacent.
I know.
There they go.
They're still kids. We keep forgetting they're still kids.
But I think for the most part right now, I think as far as like building those leads, we're playing team defense. We're moving the ball extremely well. Everyone's shooting well. I think the last
Isaiah had a good input. He's like,
Bradenton Christian.
I think Kinker's best guard game was last night.
Oh yeah.
His off the ball action was good. His assists were fantastic. You know, he doesn't get credit for all his stuff, but he's a point guard. So
Yeah.
his job is to assist to get the other players in the right position.
And I think going back to Bradenton Christian, a big player for us that stepped up was Torrey Payton. He's a freshman.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's kind of been trying to find his way a little bit and what he's supposed to do. He's kind of trying to figure out his role. And he came in, played great defense on their best player, had like 5-6 offensive rebounds. And I think that was ultimately the game changer.
And Omar been really solid.
Yeah, Omar.
Night after night.
Yeah, we told him every night you're on the best person. So,
Yeah.
and, you know, he gets a little upset when he gets fouled, but
That's what he's going to get. Yeah.
so.
John, need to cut you off. I want to make sure we had a Friday Monday father.
No, that was fantastic. But, you know, I sense a little frustration on Coach's behalf. And that's why I asked that question is I think your expectation having that more senior based class or team, your expectation was a little higher, wasn't it?
Well, I wouldn't say the kids know what we expect of them, and I think, you know, back when I played, I was just a workhorse. I dive after ball and stuff like that. So that's what I'm trying to instill in them, and it's just frustrating, you know, sometimes when you think that you want it more than the kids, and it shouldn't be like that. So those 3 games, me and Coach were just like, man, like, what do we do? You know, these kids just aren't playing hard. Like, we just couldn't figure it out. So we came to practice the next day and just, honestly, this is a true story. So I called Bruce, the prior to practice. I said, hey, listen, I'm going to bring 5 alumni in and we're going to play them. So I brought me, Teddy D's, Malik Barber, Brian O'Boyle.
That's not even fair. That's a college team.
Stephen Bruno. And towards the end of the practice, we had the JV kids in there watching, and as well as the varsity kids and the varsity starters. And I mean, for 3 straight games, we just pounded them. Even us as like grown men were diving on the floor after the ball. And ever since then, you know, I think they've kind of started to realize that, hey, if we do this stuff, you know, we can be successful. Because if I'm diving on the floor, I'm not old, but the next morning I woke up.
You probably felt it the next day, yeah. How many body parts did you feel different the next day than you
Like
10 years
4 or
ago?
5.
Yeah.
But
Well-
I mean, ever since then, they kind of started diving on the floor. I mean, there's still some like minor things, but you know, I think we're getting better.
So I wonder if the lesson learned is maybe you should do that preseason.
Yeah, and you know, and
Then they won't be able to walk the next day for the whole season. They'll
going back
pull a
to
hernia.
when you said, "Are we young?" So like a lot of kids, the JV kids, they were telling me, they were all there today, and I told all of them, I think a big thing for all players, whether you're junior, senior, freshman, sophomore, is coming to summer workouts. Like I get it, no one wants to wake up and come to summer workouts when you can be going to the beach, hanging with your friends. But I think that shows your commitment as a basketball player and how good you want to be to see if you get better. I know a lot of kids, some kids that didn't make the team who didn't come to summer workouts, and they, at the end of last season, they came back and they're the same player. If you're the same player and you're a senior, why should you keep?
Well, what's the old saying? Championships are won in the offseason.
Yeah.
You know, the kids don't know that saying. Someone's got to tell them at least once.
So that's, as far as us being senior heavy, that's a big thing for us this summer, is trying to get all these kids into summer workouts and lifting and just playing as many games as possible to be experienced. Because a lot of these kids have never played organized basketball before. And the JV team has some talent. You see.
Honestly, yeah, I could have seen the JV ranks. You had number 4 the other day, Caden Palmer, I believe, came in and played for one game. I think I don't know what grade he's in, but he looked pretty good. Sophomore, yeah.
Caleb Cruz, sophomore. Damon St. Mark, freshman. Jordan Nelson, sophomore. So we have a lot of good sophomores coming up, so that's something to build on.
Good. Yeah, I noticed a couple of teams have been playing. They've got a lot of freshman sophomores on their starting 5, and so it can be done. Yeah, if you nurture them the right way, yeah, it can be done.
So we've got about 10 minutes left, but I want to go back to the game with the 5 of you. What impression do you think that really made with this team, because they're so senior based?
So we told them we were going to scrimmage them. They're like, oh, we're about to destroy y'all. The first game, I think it was 8-2. We won 8-2. And I think that, so they played hard, but they didn't play really hard. The second game, they played harder, and it was 8-4 or something. Third game we played, it was 8-7. And then we played a game to 3, and it was 3-0. They won.
That's okay.
I think towards the end we were a little tired, but each game they started playing harder and harder. And I think, the impression they got was that these kids, if they can play this hard at that age, there's no reason we shouldn't be playing hard at this age. And I told Bruce, I'm like, there's no schools in the area that have 5 alumni willing to come back and do that for the program.
Right.
So I think, when we told them after the game, after the practice, don't take it for granted. All of us 5 wish we could still come out there every night, put that jersey on and play. So, and all those kids play hard that we're playing with.
I think you found a recipe that you might have to open that preseason and to wake any team up that you have from this point forward.
Yeah.
Because I think that especially if you're getting the young kids to come into the gym and watch too, that's an example. If we can keep 5 of you guys coming back and willing to put the jersey on and get on the floor and dive and really inspire the Northport team.
Yeah.
That might be your game changer right there.
And all 5 of us have played, all 5 of us have won district championships that played. Those boys, Teddy, Malik, Zeph, they went to the Final 4 regional. Me and Brian, district champions. So I think if the kids see that, what worked for us, it can work for them. Because you were there, we weren't the biggest, strongest.
Yeah, you got good team dynamics.
Good guard, outwork them. And I think that's what Port Charlotte. That's the difference between the games they win. They outwork teams. They outwork teams from the tip all the way to the game, and that's part of the reason they beat Charlotte. Charlotte's way more talented than them.
Right, and that was to me a shocker. Well, it wasn't a shocker. I wasn't surprised. I was surprised at the score and all, but yeah.
I think a lot of it is you can be as talented as you want, but you got to show up every night and you got to work.
So let's go back to your team here. So we got the game Thursday night. You're going into Christmas break, I believe. You have one tournament, Braden and Christian.
Yeah, and we play a huge district game coming up. We're playing Sarasota, December 28th at 10:30 in the morning.
Where's that going to be at? The Braden Christian?
Yeah, Braden Christian.
Does that count for your district play? It's a regular season game, right?
It counts. Yeah, it's a tournament game, but it still counts for.
Is it the first game or the third game? That's the big first. Okay.
So depending on how we do is who we play.
Oh, the bracket, gotcha.
Yeah. So Sarasota's ranked 5th in the state.
Oh, what?
So
Really? That's my
Yeah.
alma mater. I didn't know that.
So-
Fifth? Oh my goodness. So you already played the 18th team. Now you got to play the 5th team.
we got Sarasota, and then either we play Braden River or a team from Kentucky. It just depends on who win or lose.
What's it going to feel like to beat Sarasota?
Hey, I just told we got some film on them.
Yeah.
We're gonna go watch them play, and then I told Bruce we just gotta work. They're more talented than us, top to bottom. But we just gotta show up and play hard. And if we play like we've been playing,
Yeah, no,
There's-
don't sell
we
so
have
short. You got
chance.
some good talent on your team, coach. If people don't know, if you've been watching, Eli's been in the news quite a bit. He's 230 games in a row against two of the better teams here in Reagan.
Yeah.
You got Brandon doing great. You got things like
Jackson's
Baker
coming back.
doing great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think your talent level is a little higher than you're giving credit there. So.
we just gotta continue to get better. I'll say that.
Yeah, and then so when you come back in January, you might have heard us say there's going to be some little block parties popping through. We haven't told anybody yet, but I know there's one for the boys game. Have you heard about this yet?
No, I have not.
They're going to have one. Yeah, that's the student government's put those together, and I don't know what game it's
We've
going to
had
have.
some decent crowds.
Yeah.
I think the Bradenton Christian one could have been a little bit better, but Friday night.
Friday night really should be a big deal. It's almost like a football
Should.
game. We don't have any basketball games on Friday. That really needs to be hyped up better.
Yeah,
So.
but I mean,
But then it's had a game for Monday for a midterm week. Have that crowd on Monday. That was pretty solid.
yeah, I think.
How's the turnout for the kids, the students?
We had to do something last night.
Yeah, last night we did. But I think, a lot of area games, they get a little more packed just because parents can come from Venice, London Bay. London Bay was a good crowd.
Yeah.
Just because it gets filled from other teams as well. So anytime the gym gets filled, it's loud.
It's a good thing.
But there's room for improvement. We could definitely put more in that stadium, that's for sure.
I think we need to get some free admission for students or something.
That's a Coach Miller thing. You gotta let him know. So we're gonna wrap up in January. You're getting closer to the end here. How you looking district wise? Have you seen your rankings? Because Joey had his rankings for soccer. Have you
Yeah,
seen our
so
rankings in
we
basketball?
are, right now we're sitting third.
The district.
Yeah, but we're close with Lehigh. I think after last night, we'll jump them.
Wow.
Sarasota is obviously first.
Okay.
So, our district, like Joey said, I'll say it again, is extremely talented. Riverview is good. Lehigh is good.
Did
Sarasota
Riverview
is
beat
good.
Port Charlotte?
Yeah.
They did. Yeah, I remember that.
Venice is good. Who else?
Yeah, you got a lot on your
Yeah,
team.
they're talented. Top of it's wide open. Anyone can win. So we just got to show up and be ready to go come February because after that it's one and done. So.
How's I know we can't talk much about medical issues. How's Mr. Freeman doing?
Trey,
is
yeah,
he
he's
back
doing
soon?
good. He had a little bit of a fall in practice.
Yeah.
Stayed home a couple days. He should be on the bench tomorrow. Thursday.
But you think he'll be ready by the Sarasota game? No, something clear.
As
Okay.
far as he
That
goes to
long
the doctor, I think after he goes to the doctor and he's clear, he has to wait 4 days.
So
So
he's definitely using that on his rebound.
yeah, so hopefully he can get back as soon as possible.
Our only dunk of the year, I believe, so far that's made it.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Right, I'm going to Thursday. I was going to draw up a special play for
To do that, an alley-oop for the dunk.
It sucks he won't be there, but I think Thursday's a game where obviously we're a little more talented than DeSoto and we should win.
And you already played more this year. What
So
first
it'll
second
be good to
game?
see, get all the kids in, let them play, kind of get everyone, some fun, get some guys who play a lot some rest.
What do you as a coach see different this year than last year? Are you seeing improvements on not only just you as a coach, but the system, the way things are working?
Yeah, I think,
What have you learned this year so far?
Even as a coach, you got to stay open to, looking back at yourself, saying, what can I do better? What can I do better?
Yeah.
I think as far as me coaching, I'm starting to understand, pick and choose spots when to, talk to kids during games because, some of the kids, are a little bit more sensitive than others, and they can get. You see.
What happened last night to the Venice player? I
Yeah.
don't want to say names.
Yeah.
There was an incident where a Venice player, right or wrong, I'm going to say, is a wardrobe issue.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. And
He wouldn't take it out.
the guy got tired of it. He just walked off the court.
So they said that if he didn't take his
I won't say it loud, but yeah. So composure's a big deal.
Yeah, you see, some of the kids on our team have little mental breakdowns. So it's kind of, you got to pick and choose when to talk to them. And so, that's something they need to work on as well. Some of these players, they want to play college, and you can't do that at the college level. You just got to stay composed.
And at the announcer table, I can hear most of what's going on. I don't hear the ends that you guys do, but I can hear the middle where the middle pack is. And the refs are actually letting it go a little bit more this year. Now, usually they'll tee up everybody, but it's kind of gone down on the fouls.
Yeah, but I thought last night was a huge win for us.
Yeah.
we're trying to stay undefeated at home. So
So, I didn't think about that. That's right.
we won every home game so far. Should win on Thursday. Knock on wood.
So how do we get the hard game win on the road? That's the next conversation.
Yeah, that's just showing up and I think kids have a little more pride when they're playing at home.
Mm.
But you got to take that same pride on the road and say, hey, let's outwork them on their home court. And I think that's still something we're trying to learn. Like community school Naples, they're a good team. They shoot it well. That game, we like kids who are smaller than us out rebound us, and that's just effort at the end of the day. You can sit here and practice this, practice that, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have effort, and the kids got to show effort.
Who's been your best surprise so far this season?
Uh,
Do you think of one or two?
Defensively, I'll say Omar
Yeah.
Branch from football.
Good choice.
Yeah, every game he's tasked with guarding the best player, and I tell him
He doesn't lose his cool either.
Yeah,
I never see.
against Booker he did.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
But I think for him, I gotta tell him he's like they're gonna score on you. Don't think they're not gonna score. I said challenge yourself to hold them to 10 points. Challenge yourself to hold them to 15. I'm like these kids are gonna score. They're the team's best players. You just gotta make it tough.
Yeah, your job is to cut it
so
in
by
half.
the end of the
That's
game,
right.
they're like,
Call him a half man. You got to cut it in half. Yeah.
and then offensively, I mean, it's no surprise, Eli, but we expect that from him. But I thought Brandon as late as he's been lighting it up. So hopefully we can continue that. Isaiah's been lighting it up.
Yeah.
So he's kind of not a surprise, but he's finally starting to
Get
get
on those
some.
3-pointers, man. Jackson Kinker last night made a 3-pointer. I think the first one I've seen all season.
Yeah. Well,
At
he
home?
had a couple, but
Or
he had
maybe?
2 or 3 last night.
Yeah.
But I know he was a little down on himself because he hasn't been shooting well. Not the Jackson we saw over summer, and he knows that.
Yeah.
And he hurt his wrist against Mariner, and he's been taping it. And I told him try not to tape it. He's like, it hurts. So I think he was overcompensating because it hurt. So he's pushing a little harder than he had to. But I think last night was a good game for his confidence. So hopefully.
Well, Coach, you got any little final wrap up here before we get going? Besides to come out Thursday night. And
Not Thursday night barbecue football.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that
Hey,
on my,
it's a big hit.
on my
I got-
final parting words here. I was gonna mention
I got
that.
kids. I got people from other schools coming. Oh, y'all the best concession stand.
That's
So-
awesome.
So we gotta talk about this because we want my parting words here. But yeah, I don't know who reached out to who first. I heard of the Wallace football. So football, a couple of coaches have come out. They've taken over the concession stand. They used to be pizza and hot dogs, usual stuff. Man, it is good. They've been giving me barbecue pulled pork sandwiches on the table there. I've been trying to hype it up. They have funnel cake French fries. They got loaded fries. They used to have loaded mac. Wonderful meal out there. Wonderful meal, and it's been nice to see that. And
Fantastic.
They take credit card. They take debit card.
Nice.
So,
Ring it up.
Pay Cash App, all that stuff. So if you're looking for something to eat during the game. I try to eat.
And it's affordable. It's not like it's
Yeah.
cheaper than a football game.
I think it's
Food.
$10. You get that plate of food, there's fries, or a drink.
Yeah,
So,
it's a good
I've
deal.
been eating during the JV game, so watching the game and eating. So it's
Nice.
I try to try something every week.
John, you got anything on?
Nothing else other than let's just keep the good year going and start 2024 with a bang.
And my favorite thing to do is announce basketball playoff games. It's hard as
Yeah,
ever for me to
hopefully
do.
we'll
They
host.
are so fun to do.
Hopefully we can host. We just got to keep. We got some tough games coming up in
Yeah.
January. Berkeley Prep. We're playing First Baptist at Wally Keller in Charlotte. So these are some big games.
So you guys, that's not a late.
I did want to say Eli is 70 points away from scoring 1,000. So we're
That's
gonna,
good to know. I need to keep an eye on that.
So we're gonna have something.
I haven't called 1,000-point one since Coach Tenner had Ramisha, I want to say.
Yeah. So hopefully it's a home game that he scores his 1,000th point. That way he can do it for the home crowd.
We'll stop the game. The referees will take
No
it.
doubt.
I get to say it's really neat. How about rebounds? Anybody here run 1,000 rebounds of all that team?
I'll have to
I bet
look.
Eli's got quite a bit of rebounds.
Yeah, I'll have to look. I know. I just can keep track.
That's nice.
That's close.
Well, Zach, thank you for coming on here. man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. It's always a pleasure having you on here. Look forward to your updates a couple weeks from now as well.
Hopefully it's some W's.
Nice.
Too. Thank you, guys. Well, John, before we head on out of here, I do want to leave a couple little pointers here. So I mentioned it earlier. Last week,
Have a good Christmas, all right?
between JV and varsity cheer, girls weightlifting, JV varsity and girls wrestling, as well as boys and girls basketball, boys and girls soccer. We are having quite the winter season this year. The results have been really nice to see. 18 events last week. Most of them were victories or top 5, top 10 finishes across the board. I think it's our most successful week ever that I can remember, just off without doing the math on it. So yeah, so again, thank you, Coach Bells, for having the football guys come out and do the food here. We're gonna take a 2-week hiatus, is what I'm hearing. Yes, okay, I agree with that. But again, guys, while we're gone, come on down to Beefo Braves in Northport. They have been really kind being our official home here. We appreciate all they've done for us. And that's gonna be it for me. On behalf of John Rawlings, I'm Sean Kirkpatrick. Well, thank you for joining us tonight here at Bobcat Blitz.
Thanks to all the listeners. And
Thanks to all the listeners.
join us in 224.
225. Have a wonderful holiday break. Be safe. Be healthy. We'll see you again probably January 9th. That's our next show.
Absolutely.
Take care.